Here's my big question on this: is who handles the chargebacks when they come through? Is that something Recurly handles, or is it the merchant of record that handles the chargebacks? And have you shown a decrease in chargebacks to the merchant?
Certainly. So the chargebacks are still communicated from the bank to the merchant, and that kind of happens out of band. It's a very manual paper process today. But when they receive those notifications, they can go in, find the customer who did the chargeback, and manage it in there, cancel it, and everything else. So it's still a bit of a manual process. With some of our other gateways, like Lidl, it's a bit more automatic in that they're able to give us an API to find out about a chargeback. Chargeback happens because a customer is unhappy, or perhaps you gave them a trial but you charged them too early, or they didn't know it was about to renew. So we have a lot of communication to tell them before they get charged, to help the merchant avoid the chargeback. We also make it really simple.
So the merchant's giving you all the customer's information?
Yes, they do, and that's how we manage the subscription on their behalf.
Okay.
But we also make it really easy for a customer to cancel the subscription if they're unhappy, and we help the merchant manage that. So reducing chargebacks is all about communicating with the customer, demonstrating value, and not surprising them, and just billing them when they're not expecting it.
So on the contract, so if I sign up for a subscription, there's contractual terms. So whether it auto renews, if I want to terminate, what the termination period is that logic that your customers still have to do themselves, or is that something that your platform provides?
No, the customer needs to find out or figure out what kind of terms they want to present to their own subscribers. And we make it really easy for the merchant or the company to offer any terms they like. So if they want to cancel a subscription and have it go until the end of the paid term, they can do just that. If they want to cancel it immediately, do a full refund, or do a prorated refund, that's really easy too.
Okay. My guess is that Sony was probably PCI compliant because they're keeping the credit cards of all their customers. So that's a question. There they take on the risk themselves, but you're taking on that on behalf of your customers. Do you indemnify your customers in the event that, because PCI doesn't mean it's bulletproof. PCI just means you're conforming to a set of rules.
Correct. It absolutely does not mean it's fully bulletproof. It does everything it can. We, to date, have not done that, indemnified our customers. However, I stand by architecture, and we could certainly negotiate something with our larger customers.
Mm-hmm.
Who's actually billing the customer? Are you billing or making a recommendation to bill?
We are running the transaction on their behalf. So we're communicating the transaction to their payment gateway or card processor when it's time to bill the customer again.
Okay.
One thing I did want to mention just about our architecture is we've designed it in a very fault-tolerant manner. It's really well scaled out, and our network architecture is divided into 10 distinct zones. So we have a lot of security around where credit cards travel in there, where they're encrypted at rest, and which systems can access a credit card to send it to the card processor. So we have a really nice solid architecture, and it made the PCI audit just a walk in the park.
How have you got your system built for expansion? Because at the moment, if I remember the conversation yesterday, I want to say your volume is 2 or 3 million today, and and that's what's flowing through your system today. What happens when it gets to 1 billion? Do you have the infrastructure to handle that?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've kind of modeled it after Amazon.com, not EC2, in that Amazon's website is built out of 100 different web services. And so we built our application to 10 different web services today. One sends emails, one generates PDF invoices, one does transactions. Everything is segmented and fully asynchronous. And so we can scale each piece independently of the entire application. Makes it really easy to scale. We're not storing large amounts of data like a social networking site. So we're not imposed by any of those constraints. And we're using the right kind of data storage where we need to. And it's incredibly easy to shard the data based on the customer as well.
And are you generating revenue from recommendations that you make or from actual bills that go through?
The vast majority of our revenue comes from our transaction fees.
So you're charging a fee every time it reoccurs?
Every time a successful transaction goes through, yes. So we're not charging when it fails. It's in our interest to make the customer perform more transactions and recover the failed subscriptions, and that's how we charge.
Okay.
Is there any requirement, I guess, from an auditing point of view? So you're doing all of these financial transactions, and I guess country by country, region by region, there are different financial legislations on what needs to be kept and for how long. Is that something that you have to take into consideration, or?
I don't know the rules around every single country, but we are storing every single transaction that comes through our service as long as that customer is a customer of ours. And the customer can get that data out of our system in several different ways. We have CSV exports, file exports. We also have some really nice push notifications to synchronize our data with their system. We can push it into Salesforce if they want it in there. And there are a few other integrations as well.
So you're not doing any of the actual data retention from a regulatory point of view.
Still the customer's responsibility.
Still
Right,
the
but
customer's requirement.
It's our intention to keep the data for as long as that merchant is a customer of ours.
So kind of like a 10-year vision kind of thing. Do you see really focusing and drilling down on subscriptions continuously, or do you want to go into more areas of merchant banking and things like that? I anticipate there's some customers who have both needs, and that could be...
Certainly. Yeah, the vast majority of our customers are using us for subscriptions today, but we have several of them who are just using us for one-time payments. They love that we can send it to multiple gateways, do the multi-currency on their behalf, and tokenize a credit card so they can just say, I want to charge this customer again, use his billing information on file. What's really cool about our service is we're sitting on a mountain of really valuable data. We can generate reports on customer lifetime value, cohort retention curves, and help companies optimize their pricing. So, there's a lot of value in that data that companies are willing to pay anywhere from like $300 to $3,000 a month for us to generate those reports on their behalf. Sure. And then we have plans to just provide more services as well on top of that.
And then what's kind of customer acquisition look like? I mean, are you kind of an AdWords play in large part now? I assume people do Google for this, but I'm not sure.
We tried it, and we actually turned it off temporarily. Okay. We have a lot of customers coming to us today through just Google organically. Subscriptions is a really well-defined problem, really well-known problem. Everyone's searching for it. Right. So we have a lot of inbound from our marketing site and especially our technical documentation. When I try to search for an issue, Recurly always comes at first. It's a page I wrote, which is really fun. But we also have partners like Intuit and Lidl and some other gateways that send us referrals as well.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, judges, we've got a little bit of time to kill here. What are your thoughts on these